All right, so thanks to everybody for attending here. And thanks to the guys out at Diode LED for doing this for us. I'm going to turn this over to them in just a minute. I just wanted to. I always get a great reaction when I do dealer presentations to a couple of pictures that I want to show you uh, because it does a great job of highlighting where the opportunities are with Diode LED. So if you can see this picture here, this was a ceiling cove that uh, Bethesda Systems went into a client's house to do a theater and saw this existing inside and started talking to the client about fixing this lighting problem. It's always interesting to us that clients don't know they have lighting problems. But here's how it looked when they were done. And I think it's a pretty dramatic A-B comparison. So while you're looking at doing things like theater accent lighting and step lights and all the other cool things you can do with LED lighting and strip lighting, always keep your peripheral vision open for stuff like this as well. So with that, I'm turning this over to Jeff. Jeff, you should have control now.
Okay, great. 1 second here. Can you see us?
Yep, there we are.
Hi, great. Okay, hi everyone, good morning. My name is Jeff Kuo. I am the Channel Marketing Manager here at Diode LED.
My name is James Chow. I'm the Solutions Consultant here over at Diode LED. The presentation that you see was created by me as it's one of my responsibilities to provide education. And I hope you guys enjoy. And if you guys have any questions, we'll be available for a Q&A at the end.
And we'd be happy to provide you with this PowerPoint as well if you want it. So let's get right into it.
Yep.
Okay, so a couple of the main items on our agenda today. The first one we're going to be doing is an introduction to Diode LED and our company and who we are, our core values, what we can provide to you as a value proposition standpoint, some of our key products. Then we'll go straight into building a basic LED system configuration for some of you that are new to the LED technology and things like that. We'll make it real nice and simple for you to understand. And then we'll get into some of the more complicated things like RGB system layouts and color changing. And then we'll open it up to a Q&A session. So throughout this webinar, anytime you have any questions or comments, there's a window where you can type in your questions and comments to us, and what we'll do is we'll save them and go over these and answer your questions at the end of the entire webinar. We'll sort of do a live Q&A, if you will. All right, let's get right into it. We'll go ahead and give you a quick intro into what Diode LED is all about. All right, so where it all began. Diode LED basically started in 2007. It was 3 guys in a 2-car garage, and essentially we started off as a sourcing and e-commerce company. So we were buying our product overseas and basically selling it on our website in the States. In 8 short years, Diode LED has actually manufacturing operation. We are on 40 square feet of real estate in Emeryville, California. All of our departments are roof. So we have engineering is
Sorry, is muted? I think we're getting a little bit. Hello?
I'm going to mute myself if this is Wayne. So.
I think that might help.
Okay, let's see what happens.
All right. Thanks.
From us in marketing, we're right above them. And our distribution center is down the street at our new facility. And our manufacturing is in the same building as they are. And our accounting and customer service departments are across the hall from us in the same office. So we work very closely, all of our departments work very closely together, and we're fully accessible to each other. And you don't have to worry about things like our distribution center being far, far away from our headquarters, or our customer service being an overseas call center or something like that. So to give you an idea of where Emeryville, California is, we're actually right across the bridge, the Bay Ridge from San Francisco, the sort of peak and tech center of Silicon Valley. We ourselves are actually right across the street from the famous movie company Pixar. So they're doing all their movie things across the street, and we're doing our LED thing over here. To give you sort of an idea of what else is around here, real nice area of innovation. Leapfrog is a couple blocks away from us. Bayer Pharmaceuticals is also a couple blocks away from us, and right across from them is a company called Novartis. They're also a pharmaceutical company. Twitter is actually in San Francisco, right across the bridge, and so is the solar company Sunrun. So we have a lot of exciting things going on here in Emeryville and in the Bay Area. All right, so we'll hop straight into what Diode LED is all about and some of our core values. So one of the things Diode LED offers is our design and engineering. We actually do all of that in-house from start to finish. And what that means is the design and equipment to bring the prototype into fruition to consumer production. We are vertically integrated to the point where we're able to control all of that. We make sure we QC all of our product, and like I said earlier, our engineering team, they're in-house, so they're just right downstairs, able to do any sort of testing, and if you guys out in the field run into any sort of issues, they're able to provide sort of on-the-spot troubleshooting and testing. We partner with companies such as Lutron and Philips to utilize their resources and sort of research, and also to make sure that all of our products are compatible with each other. Moving on to our customer support and special projects team. These guys are actually our internal representatives. They specialize in product support, technical troubleshooting, and project layouts. These are the experts that you would call on the phone when it comes to placing an order and making sure that you have everything you need in that order to build a complete system. If you have multiple orders or a large project or even a special sort of project layout, that's when our special projects team would come in and help you in finding the correct length of product that you need and the correct drivers and all the technical aspects of that. And these guys, again, they're just down the hall from us, and we work very closely with them to make sure that we're providing all our customers with exactly what they need. So when it comes to inventory and having what the customer needs, we're probably one of the only companies that actually has the vast inventory available here locally in the States to be able to ship out same day. And the way we're able to do that is our 30,000 square foot distribution and manufacturing facility, and we actually have over $30 million worth of inventory and automated equipment there to make sure that this happens. We're really good on turnaround time with our custom projects. We have a 5-day lead time for some of those. The rest of our stuff is basically housed here in inventory and ready to ship out as soon as the order is processed. It says here same day shipping on all orders processed by 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The other thing that Diode LED provides is industry education. So we provide things like updates through newsletters, things like this webinar here, and we do first-party seminars, and sometimes myself and James and my counterpart Chris Hong, who manages the western region of the States, will come out and visit you guys for field visits, and we'll do field trainings and product demos, and bring out samples and things like that. So we want to be where the customer is, and we want to make sure that all of our customers and all of you guys are getting what you need from us as a manufacturer. And as I had mentioned earlier, we do a lot of manufacturing and custom assembly. We are very well vertically integrated. We do things like precision robotic cutting and polishing. We do in-house soldering. We have injection molding machines. and our technicians basically run all these to provide you with a turnkey solution, so you don't have to deal with field cutting or field soldering. We want to essentially provide you the product ready to install on the spot. Get rid of all the headache and the fuss and just the labor costs and things like that. So we were trying to make things as easy as possible.
Moving on, we talk about our appropriate UL listings, and compared to most generic listings where an LED luminaire would essentially just light up, our UL listings for every product that does contain a UL listing is appropriately listed as is. Meaning, if you took our tape light, the UL listing would actually state that it is a luminaire, it is portable, and that it's actually field cuttable, versus most other generic suppliers or resellers where the listing just says that it lights up. It's not rated for field cutting, it's not rated for a particular type of application. And with this aspect in mind, the likely chance that you'll fail an inspection using our product is not likely to happen. On the topic of products, we can go ahead and start talking about our available color temperatures, which we have a total of 11 readily stocked, anywhere from 2000 Kelvin all the way as high as 6500 Kelvin. With special Kelvins upon request as well, too. An example of one of our clients, a Tiffany company who sells high-end jewelry, they only use 7500 Kelvin, which is not normally stocked or actually manufactured on a regular basis, but it is something that we do for them, and we'd be willing to do for you guys as well, too, if you actually need it. And with those special Kelvins and regular stock Kelvins, we ranged from lumen outputs from 105 to 580 lumens per foot, allowing you to have a wide variety of accent lighting or tacit indirect lighting. So pretty much with any kind of project you run into, we'll have the ability to provide you with a proper solution. And on the topic of lumen output and color temperature, none of this means anything unless you have a proper high-quality CRI value, known as color rendering index. And we'll definitely talk about this in a little bit, but we definitely want to let you know that we test beyond the normal testing range. As Jeff mentioned earlier, we have complete control over the entire design and manufacturing process of our LED-based products. For most LED suppliers, what they like to select is just whatever is available from most LED manufacturers. But where Diode LED differs is actually the selection of LEDs. And with that selection of LEDs, what we actually do is systematically, during the manufacturing process of those LED chips, is systematically select the ones that we formulate as the best quality. And what I mean by that is when LEDs get manufactured, they're essentially manufactured on a giant silicon wafer board. And there are certain LEDs on that wafer board that aren't produced or aren't consistent with the rest of the production batch. So what we do is we actually select the ones that we feel are the most consistent with the neighboring selection and the neighboring batch, and we'll actually utilize those into our LED-based products. And the remaining portions actually get recycled or cycled off into the eBay or the generic products that you would see on those particular types of vendors. With that selection of LEDs that we deem appropriate for our production, we'll actually catalog, record, and archive the entire history of that LED chip, meaning that we know exactly what the phosphor filter recipes are, what semiconductors were used to manufacture, even the plastic that went to the square housing, to better provide us with our own history to know if something were to go wrong 5 years down the road and you needed a replacement, we know exactly what the replacement component would be. So let's backtrack a little bit and talk about CRI, or color rendering index, which is the measurement of a light source and how accurate of a reproduction is to natural light, or sunlight, as some people say. But the actual value that's actually used, or the comparison, is actually incandescent lamps. So for CRI to be measured, it usually needs to be measured through a third party. Otherwise, you won't have a validation of what your actual specifications are. Now, a responsible company like Diode LED will measure our CRI values through third-party testing, known as the LM79 report. And typically, this testing is done through measurements of the scale of R1 through R8, which is your flat tone colors. Now, just because you have a high CRI quality value, it doesn't mean that all of it's necessarily there. Now, you'll see that CRI is also measured through an R9 through R14 value. Looking at the scale, you'll wonder what is the importance of R9 and R14, and what you actually get there is actually your bright primary colors, such as your red, yellows, greens, and blues, the things that actually make up the core color spectrum. And with high CRI from another company, you typically won't even get this measurement at all, just because it's not part of the standard range. To go a bit further, for a reputable company to actually present their R9 through R14 values is where you actually differ from the high quality to the low quality. And you're going to wonder now, what is the importance of this R9 value, or even R10, R11, and R12? Well, this is the primary color spectrum, and this is going to highlight anything and everything that the LED lights shine on, including skin tones, wood grains, your food and produce, clothes, art pieces, anything with any kind of texture, such as limestone or carved wood, or even a tree stump. All of these features will be highlighted by having a quality LED with really nice R9 through R14 values. In this side-by-side comparison image, you'll see that with a 70 CRI, which a few years ago was actually a pretty decent CRI, you lose some of the textures, the tones, the livelihood of the object you're shining on. Now on the right-hand side, you see the 90 plus CRI, which is available through us as well too, through several different product lines. But you see how the visuals of the details are just much more vibrant. There's some contrast. The red tones are flushed back in. With the red tones being placed back into your object, or being enhanced, so to speak, kind of think of it as high definition TV. You can imagine what the effects would be on your high-end jewelry, again, your produce. We use the terminology typically, if you go to a meat market and the meat looks bad, if you shine a 90 CRI light onto it, typically the red will come back from the meat, and basically it makes bad meat look good. But of course, beyond that, imagine shining it onto your nice tile backsplash or your really, really nice onyx or granite countertop. The textures, the details, the vibrancy, it all comes back with the higher CRI. So with the enhanced lighting and quality of lighting, a lot of customers will say, do I really need a 90 CRI value? Do I need this and that? Well, if you think about it, how much have you spent on that granite countertop? How much have you spent on that cabinetry, the backsplash? Do you really want to cheapen it with really cheap 70 CRI tape light or LED light or any kind of light with 70 CRI? And you just think about it, you lose all this visual detail, you lose all the wow factor of everything just because you want to save a few dollars here and there.
Okay, moving back to the agenda, next we're going to be going over some of our key products at Diode LED. So as you know, we offer a wide range and variety of LED-based products, from your basic LED tape and strip light to our chromopath channels. We do under-cabinet fixtures and even things as crazy as RGB and DMX color changing. That stuff is really, really fun. And we just come out with this revolutionary new product called SwitchX that's basically going to change the market. And you can find all that stuff in our product catalog, which we'd be happy to send to you if you just give us your contact information, or you can actually find all of it online at our website, simple enough, diodeled.com. We're actually coming out with a new version of that as well, so be on the lookout for that. Okay, so let's move on to our tape light. Our company actually sells over 4 million feet of tape light per year, and the bulk of that is our main two products, Fluid View and Blaze. And as you can see here, for each of these, we offer a multitude of different color temperatures. One's really good for accent lighting, one's really good for task lighting. They're both really high CRI. We've actually just come out with newer, higher versions of this as well. One of the reasons why we sell so much of this product is, you can see here, all of the different color temperatures, and as James was mentioning upon earlier, really finding the right product for your project, right? So if you're going to be doing a specific accent lighting for a wood grain table, or if you're going to be doing task lighting for maybe your garage, you want to have different color temperatures and different lumen outputs. A toe cake is going to be completely different lumen output and color temperature than, let's just say, Tiffany's display box that's going to be displaying a $20,000 diamond. So we really make sure we have the right product for whatever it is you're trying to do, and we want to make sure that the quality is there as well. So just to give you an idea, here are some actual application shots of the product being used in its natural environment. On the image on the left is a house in Monterey, California, and you can see that that's sort of a nice soft 3000. That's our Fluid View 3000 Kelvin, perfect for accent lighting. It's warm and inviting, so that's perfect for that type of setting. Now, if you look over to the top right image, that's actually a nightclub called Sloan in San Francisco, and they're using a combination of both our Fluid View and Blaze. The Fluid View is in the glass shelves behind to sort of accent all the wonderful drinks, and Blaze is in the underbar area to accent the bottom of the bar and really give you a sort of a warm and inviting environment once again. The image on the bottom, you see a wet bar, and that's actually in a house in Marin County, and they chose to use Fluid View 4200, so a little bit cooler, brighter white light, really brings out the wood accents and the grain. So again, really depends on what type of environment you want to light up, what type of material you're looking to light up. We have all sorts of different options to help you find that exact look you're looking for. So the next product I want to talk about is actually our Valent Premium Tape Light. With all of this talk about CRI and the importance of quality, this is actually something that we're really proud of. Our Valent Premium Tape Light features a CRI of 90 plus, and this is one of the highest quality CRI tape lights out there on the market, and we have it at a really affordable price. It features a newly available LED chip that's only been on the market for a couple of months, less than 6 months. And most of the LED suppliers out there are actually not aware of the quality design of this chip or even its existence. So we're getting you guys the good stuff. Physically, it may appear to look the same, but the internal performance is really what makes it different. It's extremely energy efficient and consumes less power, but it actually provides more lumen output and a higher quality of CRI. So this is really proof that LED technology is still continuously evolving at a very rapid rate, and we're right up at the very top, riding that wave and making sure that we're using the best technology out there still at an affordable pricing for everyone. So one thing that Diode LED likes to do is solve industry problems and basically filling any holes or any gaps in the technology or in the products that are out there. And basically what came from that sort of mindset was the inception of HydroLume. Now we're actually also really proud of this product. It's been tested and proven, and it's, for those of you that are familiar with the product, you'll already understand why. So once again, we're using high quality chips. These chips are manufactured from Korea. This is a 24-volt strip light, and it's available in 2 color temperatures, 3500 warm or 6500 cool. It is fully dimmable, and we have 2 versions. We have a regular and a HydroLume Plus. The Plus has larger LED chips for a higher lumen output. And the max run, this can go all the way up to 80 feet on a single run. And we cut these in about 7-inch increments. So what's great about this product is sort of twofold. One is that it's ordered to a custom length, to whatever the customer prefers. Now just think of I guess the standard example we use is a swimming pool. If you want to be lighting a swimming pool that's your standard size, you'll only really need 1 run of this product and probably some connectors on each of the corners. And you can order that custom length to however long your swimming pool is, however wide it is, and we'll basically build it for you and send it to you ready to install. The reason why we do this, the other side of that, is because this is not a field cone product. It's designed to withstand extreme environments. And by that, what I mean by extreme environments are areas that are exposed to direct sunlight, marine environments, so we're talking freshwater and even saltwater, pools, fountains, trellises, treated water, chlorine, and chemicals, really harsh stuff that can kind of normally wear away some of the other tape lights. And even your standard outdoor architectural accent or task lighting, locations where traditional tape light would not normally be able to go outdoors. So for those of you that are, well, you guys are on the East Coast, or maybe some of you who have sort of more extreme weather than us Californians out here, Hydrolume's a great product. You can basically put it outside and it'll withstand anything that Mother Nature can throw against it. The product's easy to install. It's mounted with a tough plastic channel, and that's got a tight, snug fit. Basically, it ensures the product doesn't fall out or become loose. You also have mounting stakes that'll go into the ground or garden or dirt or gravel. You can use it, so it doesn't have to be in a linear fashion. You can use it to basically outline any sort of shape or circular design on a lawn. And the brackets are pretty much screwed in and self-explanatory. Now, what's special about this product is we basically back it for at least 5 years, a 5-year warranty. I've worked with some of the competitors' product, and it feels light or flimsy and soft, has air bubbles. The resin is susceptible to discoloration or yellowing and brittleness and cracking. And some of them have some of the features, but not all of them are UV resistant, saltwater safe, and chlorine resistant, all the good stuff that Hydrolume is. So our product is tested and proven, and the reason why we have such high confidence is that it goes through this manufacturing process, which you guys I'm sure are aware of. Is it goes through an injection molding machine, and it's the same process that they use to make monster cables or RC cables, and it makes them tough and durable. And so we're actually the innovators of this in the LED industry, and we are the only ones to offer this custom finished product in the U.S. So again, this is a great product, and we're actually very proud of it. And it actually comes at a really good price point, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So here you can see some in-action shots of Hydrolume, and at the very top left you see a standard pool installation, and see how nicely that lights up the pool and really brings out the blue tile on the bottom. You can see the fluidity of the material. It's not spotty at all. As long as you have the proper angle and you have the correct installation method, it comes out beautifully. On the bottom left, you had a indoor water feature that's basically outlining the side, and I'm sure, again, that's probably treated with chlorine or some sort of chemical to make sure that it's safe. Harsh on LED lighting, but we have our IP rating of 68. We'll be sure that that'll be no problem for us. So on the right, you'll see some bench lighting. The lighting's not necessarily submerged or near the water. You can see some water in the background, but it's not exactly close to the water. But it is exposed to the elements, and you can be sure, 100% guaranteed that it'll withstand anything, once again, that Mother Nature can throw at it. This is great for any sort of outdoor applications, and even indoor applications where you have maybe harsh chemicals, or the example that we found recently is in car dealerships or repair bays, where these mechanics are working with sort of harsh chemicals like brake fluid and car oil or dirty car oil and things like that. They need lighting to light up their workspaces. LED lighting is a great solution for that, and Hydrolume provides the proper amount of lumen output and also protection to make sure that you don't have to continuously replace bulbs or have any sort of maintenance or upkeep. You basically just wipe it down and you're good to go.
One of the downsides working with LED tape light is the fact that it's kind of unfinished. It's essentially a printed circuit board with some LEDs and a 3M double-stick adhesive on the back, and that's just great when it's indirect, it's hidden. But what about those moments when you need to go ahead and protect your LED investment? So what we have here is actually what we call chromopath aluminum channels, and this was actually a collaboration through all Diode LED employees who are actually exposed to our clientele. And we asked the questions, what's missing in terms of aluminum extrusions or any kind of like hardbound customized fixtures? We came up with chromopath, and the idea was that we can offer several different variations and styles and covers, and it allows you to pretty much create a modular but clean and modern light fixture that would match with any kind of job or budget. So that being said, we offer chromopath channels in 4 different styles: a slim, a 45-degree channel, which is great for under cabinet applications or under shelving applications; square for just overall general use; then the duo, which is specifically designed to house the most amount of light in the smallest amount of packaging. And to finish off the packaging, we offer 2 different types of lenses: a frosted and a clear. Now, also the channels are available in a 4-foot length and an 8-foot length, which is great if you're working with those kind of dimensions. But one thing that Diode LED realizes recently is when you're working with aluminum extrusions, and let's just say you don't need all 4 feet or you don't need all 8 feet, it takes a lot of time and energy and a lot of work to go ahead and cut those to length, then polish it, and next thing you know, it's crooked or whatever it may be. And we realize that that's a huge time sink. So what Diode LED now offers is actually a custom cut service, where you essentially pick any of our tape lights and any of our Kelvin temperatures and any of our CRI ratings and pretty much mix and match and create your own custom fixture. So again, you would take any of our tape light, any of our chromograph channels, any of our finishing options, the frosted lens or the clear lens, and what we'll do is we'll literally cut, solder, and assemble all the pieces together so that you can have a out-of-the-box, ready to install, UL-approved fixture to save yourself time and installation efforts. We'll go ahead and do this in anywhere from 1 to 5 business days, from 1 to 200 pieces within that order. And again, the idea is to save you time, save you the labor, the energy, the equipment. All this is done by us here in Embryville, by our technicians, with the most high-tech robotic soldering machines, cutting machines, polishing tools that you can ever imagine.
So with our ChromaPath, recently we've done some studies and we've gotten feedback from the field, from our sales reps and from our dealers and our customers directly on what should be coming next. We've heard things as far as different sizes and different powder coated finishes, and we're looking into all of that. The 2 main things that are coming soon, the first one is a recessed slim channel. So that's a smaller version of these channels that'll fit just the tape light, and that'll go nicely into a 1/4-inch routed trench, sort of your standard bit router that goes into some of these under cabinet sort of wood fixtures or things like that. That'll fit just the tape light in there and that'll fit really nicely. The next thing that we're also looking into and has been really requested of us is the premium diffusion lens. So what that means essentially is we have another one of our products, which is called the Fencer Saber under cabinet fixture, and we have premium diffusion on that. And what that means is it gets rid of the LED dots and it prevents scalloping. So essentially when you're looking at LED tape light, you see the LED on the strip light, you see one dot after another after another. What the premium diffusion does essentially is it turns that dot into basically a long white line of solid light. And we're working on that, and that'll be coming soon for the lenses for each one of our ChromaPath fixtures. So keep an eye out for that.
So what you see here is a couple of images. The giant one on the left side is actually our employee lounge here in Embryville, and above the wood ceiling is actually our customer service area. But what we really want to show you here was actually the ChromaPath channel that's actually laid into the wood. And this is actually our ChromaPath Duo channel, and inside actually resides our double blaze LED tape light, which is actually our most powerful LED tape light output. And the slightly smaller image on the right side, you'll actually see how it's laid in and wired up, and how we put the frosted cover lens over it. And this is actually our only light source in this particular room. There is a small window to the right-hand side that's off camera, but we don't really get much sunlight from that. We have some under cabinet lighting, but again, it's not really our primary lighting. And the decorative lights that you see in the back, not really meant for task lighting. So what you actually see is double blaze, which is approximately 500 lumens per foot, side by side to each other. So what you're looking at is 1,000 lumens per foot in a controlled direction of about 120 degrees. And that's actually stretched across 8 feet from the brick wall all the way to the front edge of our employee lounge. So with the picture on the right-hand side, let's just say you don't need 1,000 lumens per foot, or you don't need to light up a big employee lounge. You can easily take any of our ChromaPath channels, and again, it's about that modular system that we offer, where you take any of our tape lights, any of our ChromaPath channels, and really apply it to whatever the job is and whatever the budget is. And with the picture on the right, you can see it's a simple, approximately about 13 to 14 inches of our ChromaPath channel, square actually, a square model channel, with fluid view in cool light. And that was enough task light for this user, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually a college dorm room, to operate the computer, do their homework, study, and just really at a cost affordable rate, just create a very modular system without changing any of the actual assembly processes or installation methods. So we've shown you a couple of pieces. We've shown you our tape light, we've shown you our hydrogen, we've shown you our chromopap system. But what we really want to really mention is that when we develop products here at Diode LED, and when we design them, we take into consideration the end user, the installer, and then the people above that, which is going to be the inspectors. So when we design products or we think about a new release, we think about the NEC requirements, the UL regulations that are going to be the trouble points of your final installation processes. So on the right-hand side, you see a couple of diagrams where it's kind of a generic power supply, a dimmer switch, and your LED lighting, which is your most common way to install LEDs. So again, with the Diode LED philosophy of trying to save our clients, our end users, time, what we've done is we actually developed the very first driver and dimmer switch combination unit in one, where it's actually a wall-mounted unit. So this was designed and developed by our team of engineers and partners for over 2 years. And what it incorporates is a miniaturized, full power, low voltage LED driver that inputs your high voltage 120 volt AC and reduces your 12 or 24 volt voltage to go ahead and easily install into your LED lighting. It's definitely something that we like to say is revolutionary, and we're more than proud to bring it to the market.
So just to give you a quick overview about SwitchX, it is a single pole switch. It fits into a standard single gang junction box, and you can sort of line them up together if you're going for a larger junction box. It'll fit in there, no problem. If you're using a deeper junction box, there's a plastic divider that's included. And it features 100 to 1% dimming. Comes with 3 different color faceplates that match the Lutron color palette. There is 0 derating for that, so that's really handy. It comes in 4 wattages. 12 volt comes in 40 and 60, and 24 volt comes in 60 and 100. Okay, now on to some of the fun educational stuff. We're going to be talking about some basic LED system configuration.
So when starting out with your LED system or your LED project, you really only have to follow 3 steps, and that's you distinguish your lighting source, your control system, and your power supply. So when you think about your project's needs, that's where you really kind of have to think about your lighting source. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do? And what other requirements you need to follow? And you can answer all these questions by simply asking yourself a couple of questions. Is this for accent or tasks? You know, is this going to be kind of highlighting an area, or is this an area where someone's going to be doing some work, or cutting up some vegetables or whatnot? What are you trying to highlight, or what's trying to be, what's going to be lit, or where is the light going to be shining onto? Is it going to be shining onto a countertop? Is it going to be shining on a wall, a piece of artwork? What is the focal point? One thing that you really need to consider as well too is moisture going to be present, because not all products are wet location rated, as Jeff had mentioned previously, of hydrogen. There are some materials or some chemicals that are going to be very dangerous to that, and you want to definitely select the right appropriate product for that application. And lastly, the next question you want to ask is, do you want to flood the area of light? Do you want to focus an area? Or do you just want to put some small accent highlights in a particular direction? By answering these questions, you'll be able to figure out exactly what kind of product you want to use, whether that's a cost-affordable fluid view or a very high-tech, piece of hydrogen for an outdoor application. So the next step after you've decided what kind of light source you need for your project is how you're going to control that. And to figure out how you're going to control it, again, you're going to ask yourself a couple of simple questions. Do you want to turn it on and off? Does it need to dim? Or do you want it to dim? Does it not have a control system at all? By answering these questions, you'll be able to figure out exactly what type of operation system, which will actually carry you into our next following step, which will be actually sizing up the power supply. So to figure out the proper driver or power supply that you actually need, you'll actually need to think about all the previous steps that you just took. What kind of lighting source and how much of it you're actually using, plus how are you going to control it? Again, whether it's an on-off switch or some type of dimmer switch, home automation, computerized control system, whatever it may be, this is where you actually ultimately determine what kind of power supply you'll have. Now, as an example, on the right-hand side, you'll see that we started out with a project that spec'd out a specific type of LED tape light, and also the amount that it's requiring. It also specs out how much we're actually using in terms of wattage consumption, and we figured that out with through simple math. In the bottom corner section, you'll actually see that the project specced out another part, which is how we're actually controlling the lights, and we even have a specific model. Now, mind you, this is just a generic example, but this has kind of the guidelines to it. Knowing that we are using 29 watts of power for our setup for our project, and we also have a very specific dimmer switch, we can easily look up the type of driver or power supply that we need, and also the correct wattage size. This is essentially your 3 cores of completing any LED system. Now, again, this is a very generic example and a very simplistic example. There are some rules that you need to follow, such as voltage drop, wire gauge. We have specifications for all these items when it applies towards our products. And our customer service team, our SPS team, can actually help you out with this information. But keep in mind, again, very generic examples, but this is the core foundation of what will actually guide you through more complex systems. There are rules that you need to follow. There are exceptions to every rule, and we can actually help you out with that. Just remember, voltage drop is a key, wire gauge is a key. Understanding the limitations of each product is also key as well. Now, again, we just went over the 3 cores of your project. We have your lighting system, we have your control system, and we also have your power supply system. Of course, you need to complete the system with some miscellaneous accessories, such as connectors, extension cables, some mounting hardware occasionally, and then, of course, chrome pass channels being our option. Now, any of these accessories may be necessary, sometimes they may not. It really depends on your application. And again, this is where our value add will take place. Our SPS team, our customer service support team, can actually take a look at your diagrams, take a look at your overviews of your projects, and we can actually spec these into your assembly. So when you need some parts, we'll definitely make sure we'll actually include them into your quotation projects.
So the last topic on our agenda today is going to be RGB systems. We had a request for some education on building an RGB system and some color changing stuff. I know some of this stuff can be a little bit daunting and may seem to be complicated, but we're here to break it down for you. We'll talk about some different controls, and then we'll get into some of the products that we have that can do color changing right out of the box.
So with color changing, we're not just talking about red, green, and blue. We also talk about Kelvin tinting, which is the option of going from a warm white color to a cold white color, which we do offer an option for that as well. But in recent years, and even more in recent months, the commercial industry and residential industries, the installations are just getting more and more dynamic, and customers are just wanting more and more crazier options. And again, so going back to some of our core values, Diode LED offers a wide selection of products and services as well to go ahead and make your projects a lot easier and to give you the advance of the crazy dynamic effects that your clientele is more than likely. So the first item you see here is actually our line of wall washers, and as Jeff mentioned, we have a huge amount of options in terms of out-of-box control. So these fixtures, which are industrial theatrical type units, feature onboard control systems. We have them in RGB and white output variations. Not only that, but they're also ready for indoor and outdoor applications. Now, as you see in the photo here, it's an easy way to just go ahead and add a single fixture to add a splash of color on the outside, but we'll also show you some examples of indoor applications where we just added some aesthetics to a very plain image. But again, it goes back to the simplicity. These units plug into a 120-volt outlet, set the programs from the onboard control systems, and pretty much sit back and relax and enjoy your hard work. So here you see 2 examples of our line of wall washers. On the top, we see the Broadway linear LED wall washer, and on the bottom, you'll see a Sphere Star LED wall washer. Both pretty much essentially operate the same. It's just a matter of your form factors. Broadway clearly is designed for wide walls to cover a large area with a very small fixture. And the Sphere Star more or less designed for spotlighting and column lighting. So this can easily be used on a flagpole or outside of a theater or a commercial building, just to add little pillars of columns of light. Now, again, these do feature onboard control systems, as we mentioned earlier, but we do offer a line of control systems, whether it's computerized or out of the box ready to go as well. We have all those options available to let you customize these fixtures to the exact application of what you're looking for. So in this example, this is actually the Natural History Museum over here in Danville, California, about 35-40 minutes away from us here in Danville, California. Now, it doesn't look like much, but if you look at the background, you see a very still image of the pioneer frontier days. And originally, this was just spotlit with some halogen bulbs. The client came to us and said, I want something a little bit more fancy, something a little bit prettier. And what we've done is we actually lined the entire wall with those Broadway wall washers that we just saw earlier. And we set it up with a non-color changing setup. And the customer was happy. They were great. But they wanted to add some dynamic effects to it. the wow factor to bring some guests in. And what we've done is we paired it up with one of our DMX color controllers, which we programmed for them. And again, this is a service to better streamline the project deadlines. We don't want you trying to figure out a software that takes roughly about 3 to 6 months to learn. We've done all that hard work. We're going to program it for you, set it up in the box, and ship it out to you pretty much as a plug-and-play assembly. So with this particular client, they want to simulate a daylight cycle. Basically, in about 4 hours or 3 hours or so, if I remember correctly, they actually want to simulate sunrise to sunset pattern so that it, again, simulates that frontier time cycle and pretty much gives that, again, that wow factor for the customers and the guests who are walking through. So let's backtrack a little bit and go back to our bread and butter, which is going to be your LED tape light and strip light. Diode LED offers what we call our Dazzle RGB or Dazzle 24 product line. And what this is an RGB, red, green, and blue, and also a red, green, blue, and white RGBW tape light and strip light, where you can pretty much put it anywhere, and it pretty much combines the best of both task lighting as well as fun color effects. As you see in these images on the left-hand side, starting with that, you see a lit up colored stairwell, which is actually made of plexiglass. And the client came to us for that application and said, I just want something that looks kind of like a rainbow. And what we did is we actually lit up all stairwells, edge lit it with our Dazzle RGB, and paired it up again with one of our computerized EMX color control systems. Actually on a scheduled timer so that a pattern actually cycles through. And if you actually stood there long enough, which if I remember correctly also, it's about a 3-hour program, you'll actually see that color cycle happen from top to bottom. In the middle section here, you see actually a bar. Pretty simple setup. Did not require any kind of DMX or digital control systems or computerized control systems. Client wanted something really, really simple. So what we set them up with was one of our inline color control systems, which actually handled quite a bit of tape light and was enough for them to actually get the dynamic effect they're looking for at a very, very reasonable budget. And moving over to the right-hand side, where you see the outdoor lobby of the hotel. And what you see is actually our wet location Dazzle 24 tape light, where it's been mounted near a wet location feature, but the water is actually sealed off, so we're not too worried about the water splashing. And we're also not worried about the elements because this is actually a covered area. It just simulates the outdoors. But what the client was concerned with was, the alcohol spillage, the cleanup, which our Dazzle RGB can actually take care of that pretty easily. It's got that endurance to it. But as you can see, all the light is set up in unison. We have fairly long mics. And again, this is set up with a very basic color controller. Nothing was computerized, nothing was on a timer, nothing was set up of that nature. The client just wanted a little bit of a wow factor. And again, had a very reasonable budget. We were able to accomplish all their goals. And from this slide, as you see, we went from a semi-outdoor application to a hospitality inviting environment, and then to just something that's kind of a decorative art piece, but also functional as well too. So as you can see, color changing or any kind of LED tuning is easily adjustable towards whatever application or whatever project you're looking for or looking to accomplish. So like with anything, you kind of have some rules that you need to follow. So what I would actually suggest is actually for your RGB systems, treat it the same as non-RGB systems. So when you lay out your project, first thing you want to think about is your light source. Again, what is the proper product for that? Are you going to use tape light? Or are you going to use wall washers? Or what are you going to use in between? You'll want to think about your control systems because this is one of the most key factors, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then the power supply. There really is only one option for power supplies, but if you think about it, there's actually two, since a lot of the products can actually be installed on a high voltage system. Now, moving forward, again, as you just heard me say, the color controller is kind of a key part. And the reason why is because your color controller will actually give you the desired effects that you're looking for. Not all color controllers are made the same. Some are made to match budgets, while others are sophisticated and advanced, just like the computerized color control systems. But then again, at the same time, not all RGB lighting is made the same as well too. Some are more powerful than others. So as an example, you don't need a wall washer to light up the underside of a bar, and you're not going to use tape light to wash the side of the building. So earlier you kind of heard me mention about DMX, and what DMX stands for is actually digital multiplexing. It's actually a digital communication signal that's used to operate and function throughout any kind of entire system. So where you commonly find this type of technology is actually in a theater, sometimes at a symphony, sometimes at bars, but you really find it in nightclubs, casinos, and even in the industrial manufacturing process. So what we've done is we actually combine our wall washer DMX technology with, again, our bread and butter of tape light. And what we bring to you is actually known as Dazzle DMX. You're looking at a tape light that's actually controllable through DMX communications without any additional accessories. Plus, you actually get the ability to control each individual LED diode that's actually on the tape light. So you think about where you can actually put this kind of technology in. And yes, you can use the wall washers, and yes, you can use our standard Dazzle. But what this really offers is just the control of movement. And as Jeff mentioned earlier, we have nothing without control systems. By bringing movement into your lighting, you're just going to grab that much more attention, especially when you're talking about a retail display or some signage to bring some customers into the building or to a particular display in your store. But you can also integrate this as well with some existing technology, like such as a symphony, as we mentioned earlier. It's common technology that's found there. Or you find it in a theater where they're playing movie theaters. There was one example where a client came to us and said they want to light up their walkways during an emergency, and we helped guide them through that process as well too. Some emergency power supplies and some additional programming for the control systems that we need. It's a very small piece of equipment. However, it does big things depending on how you lay it out. And again, our services are here to help you out with those layouts, with the programming, and with the actual assembly process as well. As mentioned, we try to make things easy, and we're going to go ahead and emphasize that a lot. So by bringing you Dazzle DMX, we're going to offer that same customization in-house service that we've done for all of our other products. So we'll cut this tape light to your lengths, to whatever you need, the data leads, the category 5 cable that we use for the assembly, as well as the power leads, the connections for your power assemblies, where you can go ahead and spec that into the manufacturing process, which is done here, again, in Emeryville, and we'll make sure that it's made to exactly what you need. Now, keep in mind that this is actually a 5-volt product, and most people would think 5 volts, you kind of get a lot of voltage drop, but this is actually specifically designed to counteract that. So we can actually accommodate your installations very easily, despite the low voltage platform. Now, it is IP66, so it can take some of the splatter of water and some moisture. But keep in mind, this is not specifically meant for outdoors. But if you do mention that kind of detail to us in your project layouts, we'll make sure to help guide you through that process and make sure that everything lasts as long as we guarantee. And I know you've heard this time and time again, but we Diode really emphasizes the fact that we try to make things easy and simple for our end users, as well as our clientele as well. So again, going back, we will do your complete system layout, whether it's standard RGB or DMX. We'll provide complete solution alternatives if we run into some difficulties. We'll manufacture the LEDs to your specifications. You let us know the lengths, the wire leads that you need, and we will go ahead and build that for you. Not only that, but we'll go ahead and create the program and the scenes and recommend a controller based on your requirements. And we will probably suggest a couple of alternatives as well too, just in case we have like a budgetary issue. But for the most part, it's not anything that you really need to worry about. And of course, if you're not satisfied, we're not satisfied. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and modify the programs or modify whatever it is that we need, or provide you with updates through email communication, so that your system is always updated and ready to go. Whatever the season is, whatever the holiday is, whatever the presentation is, we're going to be able to update and provide effects, new dynamic sequences, so that your system is always fresh and clean.
So at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and move into our Q&A session.
Okay. Let's see. I'm not seeing any questions.
Okay. I've got everybody unmuted now, so
Okay.
you can just speak your questions if you need to.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay, well, looks like there may not be any questions.
That or we better just start.
Okay, let me ask a question just to clarify for everybody here. When you talked about the services on the RGB system configuration, we've had you guys do several system layouts for some of our dealers, and that's all been really, really helpful. On issues such as the programming, is that also a no charge service, or is there a charge for that?
There's actually a current service for programming, in addition to the consultant stuff.
That programming portion of that, you're looking at $50 for a half hour. The industry standard somewhere in the nature of $150 to $185 for every hour. So all we're really trying to do is just kind of get you started, up and running out of the box. So we're not really, trying to make money off of this. We're just trying to make things easier. And most of the programs that you guys usually request or anyone requests, we typically have a file that's similar, and we just do slight tweaks. So we've never really run into a situation where programming ran over an hour, to be honest. So, and that included several scenes, not just one or two, but we've once done maybe about 10 within that hour, and they were pretty complex. But we have a pretty vast library where we just throw the program into the controller, make the tweaks according to what your specifications are, and then ship it out right to you.
And one thing I would like to add to that, James is actually one of our resident DMX experts, but within the industry, it's actually not out of the norm for a company that is looking for some sort of DMX or RGB color programming to hire an expert and have to fly them out to their location and do on-site sort of project management and things like that, and basically put them up for the entire length of the project, and that can be pretty sort of come out to a hefty bill. And so what we try to do is we try to avoid that. We do most of our programming, in fact all of our programming here in-house. You basically send James, even a
story, basically.
Yeah, a story or exactly, just basically what you need and what you're looking for, and we'll go ahead and build something and program it and basically send you the controller and the lights, and once you get it, it's ready to go, plug and play. The good thing about some of these controllers actually is that they're fully programmable, and let's just say you have a setup where you have a wall full of a wall with our DMX RGB lights and some acrylic in front of it, and you're playing this one image, and you want to change the image. All you have to do is call us, let us know, tell James what you want, and he'll create another file, send it to you, and then all you have to do is connect your computer to that controller, update it, and then you're good to go. You don't have to send it back to us or there's no lead time or anything like that. We just got to get you the program, and it's fairly simple.
All right, well, that's all great. We all appreciate you taking the time to do this, and I'm confident we'll have follow-up questions. But thank you.
All right. Sure. If you need to reach us, you can send me an email at jeff.go@elemental.com or at diode.com. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Wayne.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.